Welcome to the video demo series for Configure.IT. Unleash the hassle-free way to build bug-free mobile apps in the quickest possible turnaround time. So in this video, we're going to take a look at the map view control and how to configure that. And we're going to continue using our Google Places API project. So the first thing we want to do is come over on the control list, and we're going to type in map view, and we're going to just drag over the map. Now we can go ahead and set the size and the coordinates, and we're going to go to 0, 50, 320, and 430. We're basically making it the same size as the table. Now, as you can see, the map is sitting on top of the table, and so when we come to this screen, the map will be shown instead of the table. Now, as far as the configurations goes, we'll just walk through each one. So the first one is the default, which is your traditional map. So the address locator can be used as kind of like a reverse geocoder. And so basically a pin will be added at the user's location initially, and the user can drag that pin or drop it at any point on the map, and that location's details will be fetched and stored in session variables. And there's 6 session variables that they'll be stored in. One will be search location lat, search location long, search postal code, search location country, search location state, and search address. So what global location search does is a search bar will be added to the map, and the user can type a location name to get a list of all the locations matching that query, and can select a location from that list. So once a user selects a location from their search results, a pin will get added to the map at that particular location. But in this case, we're going to leave it as default. Now, before we take a look at the custom properties, why don't we go ahead and take a look at the API that we're using and some of the results that we're going to be getting. So to do that, we're going to come over and we're going to click on the API, and this is what it is. Now, if you're wondering how to configure this API, go back and take a look at our third-party API configuration video. So this API is already set up to go. We're passing these 2 parameters, the city and the category. So Atlanta, Georgia, and we're going to be looking for doctor and restaurant. So we'll come over here and we'll hit debug. And here's the results that we're going to be getting. So you can see here we've got formatted address, which is the address of the business, the latitude and the longitude, and the icon of the business category, and the ID and the place ID from Google, and then we're going to get the name of the business. So those are the output parameters that we're going to be using in our map view. So now let's take a look at some of our custom properties. The first one is the key name to location data. So for our example, we pulled up a list of locations and we want to map all of those locations. So what this allows us to do is choose the key name for that latitude, so we can provide the latitude for each location. So we'll just come down and we'll choose lat. Now the same thing for key name to location longitude. We're going to scroll down and we're going to choose long, which is the longitude. The key name to location title in this case will be the business name, so we'll just scroll down and we're going to choose name. And the key name to location description, this could be a lot of different things, but in our case we're just going to use the address, which is formatted address. An annotation view nib name, we're going to come back to that in just a minute. Pin color, so there are a couple of colors available for pin color, and they're all chosen by number. So you can do a 1, you can do a 2, and they're different colors. Or if you have a specific image that you want to do, you can load that up into the asset manager, and then you just put the asset name right here in this, and then that will become your pin. Location to display on load. So if you want a specific pin at a location when the map loads, then you would put the coordinates here. And the way you would do that is use the curly brackets and then put in the lat and long and end it with the curly brackets. Zoom level on load. So when the map loads, how far do you want it to zoom in? This is a number, so you just put that in. Should show all annotations on map load. If this is checked and you have multiple annotations across an area, the map will zoom out to that point to show all annotations. Show detailed disclosure button on callout. So what this does is when a pin is tapped, an icon will be shown on the, and we'll go ahead and select that. Enable Google Map does a couple of different things. First off, you have to have it enabled for a lot of different options. For example, enable directions, enable street view, indoor enable, traffic enable, all have to have this enable Google Map checked. The other option is to come up here to miscellaneous settings and click on map right here, and then you can enable Google Maps here. So we'll go ahead and check that. And we'll go ahead and choose enable directions. Enable street view basically says when if you select a location, then you want to see the street view at that location. Indoor enabled, again, that's specific for Google. Traffic enabled, if you're getting directions, this can show traffic as well. So we'll go ahead and check that. Direction path color, when you're getting directions, you can choose the color here. So we'll choose a cool blue. And so map type, you have map, satellite, and a hybrid. If you want just a regular map, then choose map. If you want a satellite, choose satellite. This checkbox here shows user location. It's kind of self-explanatory. If you want the user to see where they're currently located, then you would just check that box. Zoom enabled, scroll enabled, rotation enabled. These are all user characteristics, so if you want them to be able to scroll or zoom or rotate it, then you would just select those right here. And that's really it as far as configuring the map settings. There's a couple of actions that you can do, so we'll take a look at those. So when the map loads, if you want something specific to happen with the map loads, then you would click there. If you want a detail disclosure tapped, and again, remember we chose to show that disclosure, so if they tap that disclosure, what do you want it to happen? So for example, we can come over here and we can do map, and we can show the directions on the map. So the first thing we need to do is provide source location and the latitude. Now remember, the user's device can provide that, so we'll go to session, and we'll choose current location latitude, and then the longitude, we'll do session longitude. Now the destination, remember we're getting those from the response, so we'll choose response, and there's latitude, and longitude, we'll do response longitude. And source address and destination address we don't need. These are if you don't know the latitude and longitude, you can actually put the physical address in each one of these, and they will be geocoded and the coordinates will be retrieved. We'll click save. Now let's take a look at what it looks like in the app. So I've downloaded the project again, and so let's go ahead and see what it looks like. So for category, we'll go ahead and choose, let's choose a couple. We'll choose doctor, and let's choose restaurants. We'll click done, and the city, we want to do Atlanta, Georgia, and search by city. So as you can see, our map loads up, and you can see all of the locations loaded with pins. So instead of the list in the table, we have a pin for each location. So if we click on a pin, we can see the details of disclosure as we formatted it, with the name being at the top and the address at the bottom. Now, as you may recall, we added an additional action to the map view so that when the detailed disclosure was tapped, that it would actually map to the address. So why don't we go ahead and test that out? So we'll tap the eye. So as you can see, it finds our current location and plots the best route to that location. Now, the question may come up, well, what if I don't want that? What if I want to design my own? Well, that's a great question, and the simple answer is you can. So let's look at how you would do that. Now that we're back in our developer console, we'll go ahead and take a look at how you develop your own map annotation view. And to do that, we're going to come over here to the control list. We're going to type on map, and we're going to take this map annotation view and we're going to just drag it over. Now you can set your coordinates and your size. Now for the map annotation view, the coordinates don't really matter because it doesn't show until a pin has been selected. but the width does matter, and we'll go ahead and change it to say 200, and we'll leave it at 100. So basically all this is a view that will be shown when a pin has been selected. So we still have to add content to this view, and we'll do that by adding a couple of labels. So the first one, we're just going to click and drop in the view. Now the X position, we'll set it at 10, Y position at 10, and the width we'll say is 180, and the height we'll leave it 20. And this is going to be label, and this is going to be the name of the business. And so the key name to data, we're going to select, we'll scroll down and we'll select name. Now we can just clone this. Now we can set the size and positioning for this one. And for this one, we're going to choose, we'll choose 10 again for the X. For the Y, we'll do 30. And for the width, we'll leave it 180 and 20. The object ID, we're going to name this label address. So this will be the address for this, this location. And the key name to data will change from name to formatted address. And now we want to add a third one. So we'll clone this one. And now we'll go ahead and set the positioning. So we'll change the X position to 10. So in the Y position, let's say 50. And we'll leave everything else the same. This object ID will be label coordinates. And in this one, we're going to show the latitude and longitude coordinates. So key name to data, we're going to do other. And we want to show both latitude and longitude in this one field. So the way we do that is we'll do the curly brackets, and we'll do lat, and close the curly brackets. Then we'll do a comma. Then we'll open the curly brackets back up. We'll do long, and then close the curly brackets. So now that we have our custom annotation configured, I want to go down and show you something that we kind of skipped over before on the map view. So we'll go to our object tree, we'll select map view, and we'll scroll down and we'll come to annotation view nib name. So this is the name of this nib, and you can see it map annotation view 1. So if you ever wanted to create multiple annotation views, then you can assign those views right here. But when you're just creating one, it will automatically fill this annotation view name. So now let's take a look at how this annotation looks in the app. So you can see again we have our locations, and if we select a pin, you can see the custom annotation, which has the name of the business, the name of the address, and the latitude and the longitude. So you can see that this offers a lot of flexibility in your design. You can, if you're pulling information from a database, you can include pretty much anything. If you wanted pictures, custom callouts, so the possibilities really are endless. Now, as you recall earlier in the video, we talked about a couple of different map functions, and the main one is the default function, which plots various locations on the map. But I'd like to go back and take a look at this additional map function, the address locator, and show you how this works. So go ahead and change this to address locator. And then we're also going to come down, scroll down, and we're going to enable Google Maps. And now we'll reload the app and see how it works. So I've re-downloaded the app. And as you can see, we switched over to the Google map. You can see a different pin icon, and you can also see the traffic now that Google's enabled. Now you can see the pin is added at my current location. If I just click the pin, and now I can drag it, and I'll drag it up to somewhere in Chattanooga, and you can see there that it gives me the current address at that pin location in Chattanooga. And now let's take a look at where some of those settings are saved once you drop that pin. So we'll come back over to our map view and actions. We'll click on, we'll just open this up, the detailed disclosure tapped. And just to show you the source address, we'll click on session. And when you drop that pin, certain items will be saved as session variables. For example, search address will be saved. And then you'll also have search location lat and search location long, and they will automatically be saved into these three session variables. Now that I've re-downloaded the project, you can see that our green flag is now the pin icon instead of the default icon. Now the last thing I want to talk about, we briefly talked about it before, is how to customize your map icon. And the way you do this is if you scroll down to pin color, typically pin color, if you put in a number, it's just going to change the color of the pin. But sometimes you want to have a custom image as your pin. And this can be done very easily. So the first thing you want to do is go ahead and upload an asset to the asset manager. Now I've gone ahead and done that, and we're going to use this flag right here. And what we need to do is we'll go ahead and click on the flag, and this brings it up and it gives us the image name. And we want to go ahead and double click on that and copy that, so you can hit Command C if you're on a Mac or Control C if you're on a Windows PC. Then we can close that. And we'll come back, and all we need to do is under pin color, we want to go ahead and paste that, and that'll be Control V or Command V. And then now all we need to do is go ahead and refresh the app, and we'll take a look at the pin. And this is a great way to customize your map. So that's how you configure map views. Want to learn more? Visit our Help Center for additional tutorials, our Support Center, and our online community, where our support team will assist you. Keep configuring.